In just a second, I'm going to turn it over to Deputy Chief Emily McKinley, who's going to run the show today. She'll go over crime stats, some homicide updates. We're going to talk about some proactivity with some gun seizures. We're going to show you some pictures of some seized guns. Immediately following this press conference, per usual, I'll make sure you guys have access to all the pictures so you can use them. And then we'll go over a couple more things, and then we'll open up to Q&A, and then we'll get out of here. Does anybody have any questions before we get started? Okay, Deputy Chief.
All right, good morning. And it is very bright. Now I know how you all feel at your TV studios. I guess this is how it feels. It's very bright. So again, welcome to our news conference in our new room. So we're excited to be in our new headquarters, and this is our new press room. We still have some work to do, but we're excited to be here. So Chief Humphrey wishes that he could be here. He is out of town this week at the Major City Chiefs Association conference in Denver, Colorado. So I will be doing the biweekly this week. So first we'll go over our crime stats, as we usually go over to start it off. So far this year we have 93 homicides compared to 124 homicides this time last year. That is a drop in 25% when you're looking at homicides across the board, across our city. That is fantastic progress. We want to continue to see that percent and increase and continue to see homicides go down. Non-fatal shootings, we're sitting in the same boat at a 25% decrease in non-fatal shootings. We have 221 non-fatal shootings so far this year compared to 295 this time last year. Carjackings are down 33% compared to last year. We have 84 carjacking incidents compared to 126 this time last year. Business robberies are down as well at 13%. So we have 42 business robberies this year compared to 48 this time last year. Again, great progress thanks to the work that our officers are doing, as well as all the other metro partners in our city, as well as our federal partners working together to drive crime down. One person that's happy about our efforts is Mr. Lee here. So we were able to charge and indict Mr. Lee on 2 homicides yesterday. So he was charged with his involvement in the homicide of Jeremiah Offit, who was killed on August 13th at 41st and Broadway. He was also charged in a 2023 homicide in on Wilson Avenue, so 22nd and Wilson in July of 23. He was charged with homicide from there. He was already in jail from a homicide this year from St. Matthews, where he was charged with killing his stepfather. So it was a good collaboration between St. Matthews Police, LMPD homicide detectives, as well as other community members who contributed to giving information and providing information to where we can indict Mr. Lee on all 3 of these homicides. So great work by our community and officers here in this case. Another thing that we're getting off the street is guns. And I really want to specifically talk about the 1st Division, specifically in our SFI areas. So there's 2 sustained focus improvement areas in the 1st Division. The 1st Division does details and enforcement details in each one of these areas. And so far this year, they have seized 250 illegal guns off of our street in our SFI areas. And so that's from the 1st Division only. So just 1 division out of 8. Here in our city. So this proactive policing is what is making a real impact in our violent crime driving numbers, getting guns off the street, driving those homicides down, driving those non-fatal shootings down. So these are some examples of guns that have been seized. These guns here on the screen right now were seized yesterday. So these 4 guns, 2 of them have extended magazines. The 2 at the bottom, you'll see those magazines that carry the ammunition are longer than the gun itself. So those guns have extended magazines to carry additional bullets, making it more dangerous out there on the streets. So really proud of the 1st Division officers for the work that they're doing in getting a lot of guns off of our streets. Yesterday, we held our first Community Safety Commission meeting, and that was really refreshing to start. We were excited to get that going. That's a part of Mayor Greenberg's Safe Louisville plan, where community members sit on a board and we discuss crime efforts and crime prevention efforts and get feedback from the community. But we also talk to them about police reform efforts and our reform with our community commitment. And our monitor will be tasked with reporting to that commission as far as the progress goes in LMPD in meeting the goals and the requirements that are outlined in that community commitment. So yesterday was really an introductory meeting where we kind of went over the rules and expectations of the commission and how the meetings will be run. But we're really excited to see future meetings and to work with this commission and get feedback and really make our community safer and to where people can feel safe in the neighborhoods that they live in. The monitor team, ALIFA, was in town for this meeting, so it was good to hear from them and good for them to introduce themselves to that commission. They also took time to come tour our wellness center yesterday, so there's a few pictures here of them touring our wellness center, and so we were able to show them kind of the efforts that we are making in our department to invest in our officers and to invest in the work that our officers are doing to make sure that our officers are healthy when they're out serving our community and making our community safe. Another exciting thing that's happening this week, we were able to kick off the Tri-City Police Leadership Academy. And so this is a really unique initiative. This is one of a kind across the country. I don't think this has ever been done anywhere, but Louisville Police, Knoxville Police, and Metro Nashville Police have teamed up together to develop a police leadership academy for middle manager leaders. So our sergeants, our lieutenants, and then professional staff leaders. And these are the people that are supervising the officers on the street. And so this is a leadership development to invest in them and develop emerging leaders in our profession to bring them to the next level and make sure that our officers have the best leadership and the best supervision going forward to serve our communities. And so the first week kicked off in Knoxville on Monday. So there's 10 participants from each city. So we have 10 sergeants, lieutenants, professional staff from LMPD down in Knoxville this week attending this class. And then Knoxville has 10 and Nashville has 10. Next month in November, they will all be here in Louisville. That will be hosted at the Galt House. So we'll have a week-long class of key note speakers and leadership development speakers, not just in policing, but also in business and in research as well. And then the last week is in Nashville, and that's in December. So we're really excited for this program. I'm really excited to see this develop throughout the years. This will be a continuous program, and really excited to be a part of it. Halloween is coming up, and so we have a lot of trunk or treats and Halloween festivals and fall festivals that divisions are putting on. So I know this is kind of small, but wanted to share these with you. So on October 18th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the 8th Division, there will be a touch of trucks. So we'll have a lot of our police trucks, our SWAT truck, a lot of our helicopter and things like that out there, food. And then JG Shelburne is also going to be there. So that's pretty big on October 18th from 9 to 3 out in the 8th Division for a fall festival. And then on October 19th from 4:30 to 7 at the 7th Division, they have a trick-or-treat with a trick-or-treat trail that kids can walk through, as well as bouncy houses and other fun things and activities. On the 24th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., the 5th Division will host Halloween in the Highlands, so another trick-or-treat event for families and community members that live in the 5th Division. And then on Halloween from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., the 2nd Division will be hosting a Halloween event with the fire department at the 2nd Division, so a trunk or treat for kids on Halloween in that neighborhood. So again, these are all free, so bring your kids, get their costumes on, and come out and have a good time with all of us. And I want to also give a shout out to the Omni. So this morning, the Omni provided breakfast for officers and all of our LMPD staff at our wellness center at the summit. So these are just some photos from the breakfast that they provided, and there was a lot of food. We were extremely thankful for the partnership and support we have from the Omni. They wanted to just extend their thanks and gratitude to the officers, especially that work downtown and support that hotel, keep their hotel and their guests safe downtown. But they just also wanted to extend their support to the other officers that work in the city. So thank you to the Omni for the wonderful breakfast this morning. So that is it, and I will open it up for questions.
Can you explain a little bit more about the Leadership Academy, the Tri-City Academy, kind of what that looks like and what the officers, I guess, do when
Yeah.
they stay?
Yeah, so so they're in Knoxville this week. The question was about the Leadership Academy, kind of explaining what the officers do each week when they go. It's a class. So Monday, they heard from a couple of different police chiefs from around the country that spoke. There was a police chief from Miami that came in and spoke about his leadership style and some of the experiences that he has had in his career. We had a police chief from Austin, Texas, and Aurora, Colorado, that spoke about some incidents that he had to manage, some crisis incidents that he had to manage, how he managed his officers, how he led his team. And then we also had some business leaders speak. We had the founder of Game Changer sports app. I don't know if anybody's a sports parent, but Ted Sullivan was the founder of Game Changer, and he spoke. He was also a professional baseball player, and so he spoke about the challenges of leadership in sports and how that translated to business. And so hearing from a variety of people in not just the law enforcement field, but leadership field as a whole, and investing in people who are leading our officers.
And why those two specific, I guess, Tennessee-based
Right.
police departments?
So the chiefs, Chief Humphrey, Chief Drake from Nashville, and Chief Noel from Knoxville, they have a friendship and a relationship. They were together at another conference and said, hey, we need a leadership development in each one of their agencies. And then they were like, why don't we come up together and put one together with our agencies? We're all about 3 hours away from each other. It's an easy drive. And it gives people the opportunity to get out of their city, network with other law enforcement professionals in other areas, and take things maybe from Knoxville or from Nashville and bring them back here to Louisville, things that they're doing well, and then vice versa.
About the seizures of the weapons, could you elaborate on the most recent seizure, how that came about, and how you came into possession of those firearms?
So the question was about the seizure of the firearms and if we can elaborate on specifically how we came into contact with a lot of these firearms. I don't know the details behind each one of those stops. I imagine that they are traffic stops or pedestrian stops that officers are doing in the areas that they're told to go. So we have sustained focus improvement areas. I know the First Division does details weekly, and where they'll bring all the officers that are working in the First Division. They'll do a detail of let's walk the beat, or let's walk around, let's drive around, let's talk to people. And throughout the course of those interactions, they're coming in contact with people who are illegally possessing these firearms. So I don't know how many were traffic stops versus pedestrian stops, or the stories behind them. We can try to get you some more information on those.
Are these stops specifically for the purpose of looking for firearms?
The stop is for this. I don't know what the stop for each one of those again would be for, but the stop is to reduce crime and to keep the community safe and to make the community safe. And so if people are illegally possessing firearms during a course of an interaction with an officer, that would be one of the products that would come from those stops.
Okay, so the firearms was not the initial reason for that stop?
I don't know. Okay. I don't know the answer to all of the. Yeah.
On the indictments of Mr. Lee, this is not the first time where you guys have charged somebody who's already in jail on a similar charge or other charges. Is this a case, or are those cases where it's easier to make a case against somebody who's already locked up because more people are willing to talk now that that person's no longer on the streets and in a danger to others?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And so the question was, Mr. Lee was indicted on the 2 homicides after he had been arrested by St. Matthews for the homicide of his stepfather. And so are people more willing to talk when they know that the subject is off the street? And I would think potentially yes. I think that does play a role in people feeling comfortable to come forward with information. I know that, there is a fear. It is a risk to speak up, but we still need people to speak up. And so I think that does play a role if you feel that he's in jail for this homicide, and I know some information on this other one, that people might be more likely to speak up. So I think that is a potential possibility.
Do you all think Mr. Lee may be involved in other similar crimes?
I don't know that.
Can you talk about the No Kings rally this week?
Yeah, so there is a No Kings rally that is planned for Saturday. And again, we support people's right to free speech and protest, and we encourage people to exercise their constitutional rights. And we are monitoring that event for any sort of threat or potential security concerns. We will make sure that we communicate that to the community if those potential threats arise, or if there is an issue. Our officers will be in the area monitoring and making sure that everybody who is there is safe, and that everybody around the area is also safe.
Are you guys closing any streets?
At this time, there's no plans to close any streets.
Any safety tips to parents or kids for Halloween?
Sure, just keep your kids safe as far as crossing the street. Make sure we're holding kids' hands crossing the street. Make sure you're not letting kids just go on their own. Wear visible clothing. Make sure that they're not dressed in all black while they're running across the street when it's dark. I know a lot of schools hand out the glow sticks, so I would encourage people to use the glow sticks or flashlights to make sure your kids are visible. And then go with your kids. Make this a time to interact and be with your kids and spend some quality time with your kids instead of just letting them go on their own. I know a lot of kids want to go on their own, but get out there and interact and make sure that they're doing the right thing as well.
Is that the biggest danger to kids on Halloween, or people, pedestrians versus cars?
I would absolutely say the biggest danger is pedestrian versus cars on kids on Halloween. Kids are excited. They want to go to the next house. They want to get as much candy as they can. So make sure that they know to look both ways before they cross the street, cross at an intersection, and make sure they're staying with a group.
So your data shows that violent crime is down, specifically, shootings and homicides. But can you speak to Louisville kind of on par with 93 homicides right now on a 6th straight year, I believe, of triple-digit homicides?
Yeah, so speaking on, crime is down and the potential of having another year of triple-digit homicides. We want to see that number go down. If we can stay under triple digits, fantastic. And I know we're at 93 right now. We still have a couple months left to go. But I also don't want to just chase numbers all the time. I am glad that we're seeing homicides go down. We will never be satisfied. If we stay at 93, we have 0 more for the rest of the year. That we will not celebrate that. That is still 93 people who have lost their lives to some sort of violence that it was unnecessary. And so, whatever the number is, whether it's 110 or 93 or 188 that we had a couple years ago, we are never satisfied with that number. Even in 2014, when we had 48 homicides, we were under 50 at that time. I know in 2014, whomever the chief was speaking about driving that number down. And so we're always going to want to keep more people safe. That's our ultimate goal. So whatever the number is, we will never be satisfied with that.
Carjackings, the number of carjackings is down. You've reported that consistently this year. Earlier this week, we were talking about car thefts. How are the trends right now comparing to last year? Because when we looked at the data that was on the crime map, it looked like there was a ton of them right now.
Yeah, I can get you the number on car thefts as far as the comparison to last year. I don't have that off the top of my head, but I know we did put out something recently in the 3rd Division where there was a group of people who were stealing cars, and we really encouraged. And there was one potential victim, I think, that tried to intervene or intersect that car theft, and we really encourage people to not take that into their own hands. That a lot of these groups are carrying firearms. It is dangerous. Call the police if you see that happening. But we can get you the numbers as far as the trends of car thefts right now. I don't have that off the top of my head.
And I'm curious about why the number of carjackings is down while we still have so many car thefts. Is that technique, has that proven to be less productive for the thieves?
Well, I think this penalty is far more stringent. And I also think carjacking someone versus stealing their car, like it takes a different type of criminal to carjack someone. That is a pretty intimate crime versus car theft. I think a lot of our car thefts have stemmed from people leaving their key fobs in the car. It starts out as a car break-in. So we're going to go rummage through this car and I'm going to push the start and, oh, it's turned on. So let's take the car. That's easy. That is easier for someone to do versus go physically to someone and put a gun in someone's face and steal their car. So that takes a whole other set of person to do that type of crime as far as carjacking goes. And I think the penalty is far greater for a robbery first versus like an auto theft.
Was the key in a Hyundai theft still a thing? It's still happening?
It is still happening, and it has gone down, but it is still happening.
You got anything, Joe?
The only thing I have is for protests coming up. I know, we saw a couple journalists get arrested up in Covington a while back. Those charges were upheld. I'm wondering if anything has changed as far as coverage plans or, I guess, where reporters can be. I know back in 2020, LMPD, did not make too many arrests of reporters.
Right. So the question is about journalists and protests. I'm not familiar with what happened in Covington off the top of my head right now, but we encourage the media to cover the protest that's happening and do that in a safe way. And then we're happy to talk to you offline more about our policies and things like that. But we encourage everyone to be out there and cover what happens and how we interact with people. We do communicate, I know, with you all pretty regularly as far as what our plans are and what's happening or what we're seeing. So follow us on social media, and then we'll continue to communicate with you all as we normally do.
Okay, that's it, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.